Hello everyone, welcome to Newcastle Fans TV, where Newcastle have absolutely hammered Ipswich 3-0. Let's get going, everyone. Right, so welcome back everybody. So we are outside the beautiful St James's Park. The last word is coming, so stay tuned for that. But we are proudly sponsored by Match Bingo. Take a look at this. Yes indeed, a big thank you to our sponsor Match Bingo today. Over 200,000 has been paid out to players so far by taking sports betting, football and bingo, combining them into one brilliant app. Make sure you get your bingo card for the upcoming game against Brighton. Click on the link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen. Bingo cards for this game are you buy 4 and you get 1 free. Right, so that was Match Bingo who proudly sponsor us, so do check out for next weekend if you want to put a bet on. Stick a tenner on, you get 20 quid back and you get a free line with bingo. But this one's a nice easy one. Let's kick things off with Nick Pope. He didn't have anything to do, John.
Clean sheet. I'm not going to give him high scores because he literally did nothing. I think we all could have played in goal today, and that's no disrespect to Ipswich. It's just the reality. I'm going to go 7 out of 10. Nothing really to add to that, really.
Yeah, it's probably the easiest one of the whole day. This is great. I'll start right back here in Trippier. Was more or less a right winger when the red card appeared, to be honest with you. But yeah, he got himself about. I didn't think it was absolutely wow performance, but I think Ipswich helped the case. Got a couple of crosses in. Probably I think that's a hard one to mark. I'll match that. I think I'll go 7. I don't think he was bad today. I didn't think it was world class, so I think 7's probably fair. Fabian Shearer?
Probably the worst of the back 4. Couple of little small errors, but like not a disaster today. Like you look, he's up against a lap, and we'll probably talk more about that in the last word. It was a good tussle. Burn had a good tussle with Enciso as well. Couple of sloppy little moves in the first half, but very comfortable in the second half. I'll go 6.5, just slightly less.
Oh, you're not bringing them back, are you?
6.5 for Trippier. Shaw, sorry.
Oh, yeah. When I'm on camera, you didn't get that. Dan Burn scored the goal. I'll pump it up a bit because he's got the goal. He kind of bundled his way in on the line. Well, Murphy was more like a dink over the goalkeeper. Palmer couldn't get it, and again, we haven't seen it back, but Burn bundled it in, and I'll pump him up to an 8 because he scored the goal, but. The defence really didn't have much to do. There was a bit of slopping up with Burn, actually. I don't want to point out right at the beginning of the game. That's just remembered. High pressing, and you give the ball away a little bit and they had a chance. But I'm still going to keep him as an 8. Tino on the left-hand side.
Solid, I thought, this afternoon from Tino Liverpool. He is improving going forward. I have noticed that in the last few weeks. It's still not the finished article by any stretch of the imagination, but he's improving, and that's kind of what you want. He's a fantastic left back. He's a fantastic right back. We're very, very lucky to have someone that can be so good in the same position, in 2 different positions. A bit like a young Kieran Trippier, if you like, which is obviously what you're gonna I suppose look at and can make comparisons with. But yes, a 7 out of 10 for Tino. No complaints. Cool.
Let's move to the midfield 3. I'll go with Willock since he came in for the starting lineup for an injury to Joe Linton with his knee. We don't know how serious that is, so hopefully it's not. We don't expect to, but a bit of aggression shown, I thought, in the first half. A little bit of a tangle rather, with 1 or 2 Ipswich
Your tongue
players.
tangled?
It was there. That's what he did there. See what he did. He had the chance to come in and press. I've got to go 7 probably again. I didn't think he got the game by the scruff of its neck. Yes, he's energetic. You know what you get for Joe Willock, but the chance was there to impress, and I don't think that Eddie Howe and Tyndall look at that and think, wow, he has to start next week. For me, I'll match that 7. Who do you want out of the other 2?
I'll go Tonali. It's amazing watching him when there's no pressure on him because he is even more relaxed. I don't know how that is even possible. He almost is the conductor. We've been saying this for a little while now. That change into that, number 4 position at times. If you're going forward, number 8 position was what he wasn't used to. The number 6 position, if we're defending, he's all over the park. The opposition weren't at the level for Sandro Tonali and a Bruno Guimaraes and a Joe Willock today. But you can only play what you're up against. I'm going to go 8 for Tonali. I thought he always does the basics very well, but he likes to play quick. He likes to play fast. He likes to get the tempo, a little bit better and a little bit higher. And that's important for an Eddie Howe footballing team. And you have to be honest, he hit the crossbar as well in the first half. Don't know how that hasn't gone in, but yeah, a solid 8 performance from our midfield maestro.
Bruno, the captain, then, so I'll start off with him. Got a lot more of the ball in the second half because he was so far in advance in these little ticky-tackers, and I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. Just have a hit. It's none of these flicks and over the tops and that. But he did have a bad game. He didn't have a bad game, so I'm going to go alongside with Willock a 7. So it's mad because we came away 3-0 dominate the game, and no one's really getting a 9s or a 10s at the minute. So because maybe it's because we expected to win potentially, but I'll go 7 for Bruno. I think he's more important as the next few weeks come up, especially with the Arsenal and Brighton trips away. But a 7. But there we go. Who do you want on the wingers?
I'll start with Jacob Murphy. I think it's a nice game for Jacob Murphy because of being a former Norwich man. But he wins the penalty. Obviously, Bruno plays the pass, but he gets into the
penalty, wasn't it?
It was. I don't know the red. We'll talk more about that last word. I'll keep that in there. Wins the penalty. He's always a constant threat. He's always improving. Like, again, everyone was probably, myself included, probably, well, Murphy would probably be good for an Ipswich team. He'd probably do well at the start of the season. I think that's probably a transfer that could potentially happen. But you think now he's well ahead of that. But yeah, really, really comfortable performance. And we're probably repeating ourselves, but 7 out of 10, job done, did enough. Could have could have had an extra gear if he needed to.
Yeah, he got a couple of great crosses in, didn't he? And obviously I thought it was a mixed bag with a 7. Yeah, but I would agree. On the other side, Harvey Barnes, he knows that Anthony Gordon is breathing down his neck for a place. I was a little bit surprised that he actually got the start. I thought Gordon will come in today because it wasn't just Barnes who was awful last week. It was 9, 10, 11 of them were shocking. But try to be bright, try to make a couple of things happening by cutting in particular, more so probably first half, to be fair, on that left-hand side. But didn't get his goal. Do I match that or do I? They're going to help us this way. I'll push it more to a 6. I just didn't think Barnes was as good as Murphy. I'm not saying that Murphy was like wow, you know what I mean, but I'll go 6, and that probably I might get a bit of criticism for that, but 6. Well, then you got the striker.
Yeah, look, I think Alexander Isak. I think obviously you saw Ipswich warm up with 5 at the back, and when you've got 3 centre halves around you, you kind of it's always going to find it difficult to get chances and create opportunities. But he still managed to get 2 chances before scoring from the penalty spot. But Alexander Isak, for me, you just got to say, look, people just are now realising how good of a player you are. You're not going to get a lot of space, not of chances, but he does get Ben Johnson sent off just by moving out on the left-hand side, twisting and turning. Is always a threat in terms of any real opportunity that he had. I know he had the free header just wide, and he had the volley that went over the crossbar. But in terms of what he did, in terms of the impact of the game, a goal and getting a man sent off, you've got to go 8 out of 10 for Alexander Isak. I don't think it was his strongest performance, but when you look at what he actually did on the pitch, in terms of the big moments, you've got to recognise that. So 8 out of 10 for Isak.
Yeah, you feel like you're scoring people high, you know? So I'm going to get the criticism, me. So we do two of the subs each, because Gordon was on, and remind me who the other one, Miley, that was it. Got about half an hour, just under. Miley I thought was actually quite bright in some places, and was it like Kieran Trippier? Yeah, that's Kieran Trippier getting his Jeep. I miss the good old days filming, because you get to see everyone who walks past. Miley was bright. He looks mega tall, dude. Looks like he's shot up, but Gordon.
Everyone looks mega tall to you, though, don't they?
I know. I'm only 5 foot. What? I'm going to say 5'9". I'm going to get away with that. I'm going to score them both for 6.
Okay.
Look, I think the game was already won by the time that second one in. It was just Newcastle were having the ball a lot, and Gordon probably needs a start. Yeah, and I think I was surprised he didn't get it today, but I wouldn't put it past him start next week. But I'll go both 6, and then you can have the other 2.
Yeah, Wilson and Osula. Wilson, for me, look, he was fine today because the game was won. It was 10 men, which were just basically playing to get the game finished. He didn't really do a lot of great deal, but considering he played maybe about 15-20 minutes, I'll just go 6. Not because he was that bad or that good, just more or less down the middle. Osula gets a high mark, of course, with a fantastic header. You can tell the difference of what pace and fresh pace does to a team, and he just wanted to impress. It was a good level of opposition for Osula because he's played Championship teams, he's played League 1 teams and FA Cup games, he's played League 2 teams in the FA Cup as well. That was a really good eye-opener. Premier League team and all but name. I know obviously they just got relegated today, Ipswich, but it was good to see him against that level of opposition. Great header, looked a threat, always on the ball. That's
great
it.
Header.
It's a great finish.
Shearer,
it's a great finish. Fantastic finish. I'm going to go 7 for Osula.
I would have gone higher.
Just only because he's only played like 15 minutes or so. But that is what we want to see. That's what I want to see more of. And the confidence he'll get from that. Great celebrations as well. So yeah, great to see from the boy, and hopefully he'll continue that.
Yeah, it was great.
Good to see Botman back as well. I know
we're gonna give him just a non-applicable. He only got a few minutes, but with Osula, it was great because I think Newcastle were looking for different ideas, and he gave that, and he was delighted. And not just that, everybody who ran up to him was delighted for him as well, which I know you'll probably touch upon that. So stay tuned for the last word. So there you go. We've rattled through all of the players. We'll give Tyndall / Eddie Howe markers. Eddie Howe took a backseat today, whereas Tyndall was doing a lot of the organisation, barking, etc., etc. Beat the team that's in front of you. We expected to get 3 points today. I'll go 7 because I think we expected to win today, and I still think we would have went on even if Ipswich had 11. I think that second goal would have come eventually, so I'll score 7.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's much more to add. I think a comfortable performance, 3 points on the board. Move on next week. Obviously a lot tougher game against Brighton away. We haven't got a good record, but we'll mention more about that in the last word. But good to see Eddie Howe back.
Yeah, it is great to see. So yeah, as you mentioned, Brighton next weekend, which obviously we'll cover. We've got the Lasters as well, but stay tuned for the last word, which is coming up later on tonight. Right, see you everyone.